This is the DJI Mini SE, and this is a really interesting drone. Actually, I think this might be DJI's most important drone to date. This drone was initially released outside of the United States, and now it's available here as well. This drone right here is going to disrupt the industry. There's a whole lot going on in this tiny little package. This drone costs $300, $299 actually. It's got an excellent camera, really good range, and a 30-minute flight time. I think this thing is gonna start putting other drone companies out of business. I'm going to talk about the Mini SE, but I'm also going to talk about these two DJI Mini drones, the Mini 2 and the original Mavic Mini, and how it's different than both of these drones. So if you want to know how this guy performs, if you want to see pictures and video, and how it compares to the other two Mini drones, stay tuned, we got you covered. So first, it's important to understand what we're looking at here. Initially, I thought this was going to be basically a rebranded Mini 1, but it isn't. This has the exact same specs as the Mavic Mini, the original, but there are a couple of key differences. In terms of hardware, it actually has more in common, I think, with the Mini 2 than it does with the original Mavic Mini. The motors, the ESCs, they're the same as the ones in the Mini 2. The shell is the same, USB-C, battery. This is a better, more refined drone than the original Mavic Mini in terms of most of the hardware components. So the things that it shares with the original Mavic Mini are kind of the spec things that you're going to look at. Flight time, 30 minutes. Camera, 2.7K max resolution at 30 frames a second. And most importantly, it has the enhanced Wi-Fi transmission system. Now that doesn't mean you need Wi-Fi in order to fly this drone. That just means that it creates a Wi-Fi signal from the remote to the drone. Now it's enhanced Wi-Fi and you have a range of about 2.5 miles. That's different than the Mini 2, which has OcuSync 2.0 and more than doubles the range. It's a better transmission system. Also, the Mini 2 shoots 4K at 30 frames a second. You can also do RAW with the Mini 2, and the max video bitrate is 100 megabits per second versus 40 with the SE and the Mini. The most important difference, however, is the price point. This drone is $299. The Mavic Mini, which is actually inferior, right? This thing flies just a little bit better. It's a little bit more refined. That one's going to cost you an extra $100. So it's $400 or $399, and then an extra $50 for the Mini 2 at $450. Now the Mini 2 is a better drone for sure. With that better transmission system, you get an extra minute of flight time and a 4K camera. But for $300, wow, this thing is impressive. So we'll take a look at some of the videos coming out of this guy, and we're going to compare it to the original Mini and the Mini 2. Now, Chris and I found an awesome location. We got a dam, we got some beautiful trees, found a cool bridge. So we took all three of these drones and a few others, and we spent a whole day and exhausted a whole bunch of batteries. So check these out. So if you'd like to see videos on some of those other drones, you're going to have to subscribe to the channel and come back. But today we're focusing on the SE, the Mini 1, and the Mini 2. This is the Mini SE up first. We're recording at 2.7K, 30 frames a second. We're going to follow by the Mini 1, then the Mini 2. So all the clips you'll see will kind of follow that order. But, you know, just a really nice drone. Flies a lot like the Mini 2. You know, they're very subtle differences, but this Mini SE just flies really, really nice. Now, this is the Mini 1. You know, with the older motors and ESCs, it doesn't quite perform as well. You know, it's kind of nitpicky. I'm not saying it flies poorly by any stretch of the imagination, but it is a little bit different. Still a really good drone. You know, again, this is 2.7K at 30 frames a second. So we're trying to get some similar shots, but they're not exact, right? And we're going to look at the Mini 2 here. Now, I actually recorded this at 4K 30 frames a second because I can record it at 4K 30 frames a second. Now, I'm not going to tell you which one I think is better. I really think it's an opinion thing, right? These are all really good camera drones. When it comes down to it, which one do you like better? Now, I've got all three here for you, starting with the Mini SE on the left, the Mini 1 in the middle, and the Mini 2 on the right. And, you know, again, we get them real small here. Maybe it's hard to see the differences. If you want to stop, pause, and zoom in, go right ahead. But again, very similar looking drones. Now we got another shot here, again, starting with the Mini SE at 2.7K. Just for you to see another shot. I think this is a pretty cool shot. Chris actually flew this one moving backwards, which I thought was pretty impressive. Now we got it again, similar shot looking at the Mini 1, 2.7K, 30 frames a second. You know, a lot of drones will claim 4K that aren't really 4K, right? The Mini SE and the Mini 1 didn't make that claim. They said, hey, it's 2.7K, and it's a really good 2.7K. Now this is the Mini 2 shooting at full 4K. Now, this video was uploaded in 4K, so I had to render it and upscale it all to 4K so it all matches the highest resolution that we shot, which is what you see here with the Mini 2. Now, we're going to look at a couple of pictures here, starting with the Mini SE. We try to get them in pretty much the same place. This is the Mini 1. And the last photo here is the Mini 2. So you make your own conclusions on how you feel these cameras perform. So we did a lot of flying and we flew a lot of drones, so you're going to have to check back to see some more of that content. So at the end of the day, this Mini SE is really impressive. If you have $300 to spend on a drone, this is the best bang for your buck by far. I think companies like MJX and SJRC, they're not going to be able to compete. They're creating products at a slightly lower price point or the same price point that are vastly inferior. The Bug 16 Pro used to be my favorite beginner drone, and that thing's like $250. No, save up an extra $50 and buy this way better in terms of performance, ease of use, camera quality. Everything about this drone is superior by far. I just don't see how these other manufacturers are going to compete with inferior drones at similar price points. We also have the Mini SE, and that one's okay, but again, this thing is just way more refined. Now, Hubsan also has the Xeno Mini Pro coming out, and that thing does spec out better than this, but time will tell. We'll see. Hubsan doesn't have a great history of producing a high quality product, so we will see. At the end of the day, this is the king of the beginner drones, and it's actually really kind of odd how DJI released it. They didn't have a really big announcement, and it's actually initially to buy this thing on Amazon, you have to go to the DJI store, right? So if you were to search for Mini SE, you get the original Mini or the Mini 2, but if you go to the store, you can actually pick this one up for $2.99. I got a link for you down below so you don't have to go through all that hassle. Now, I've been pretty impressed with this Mini SE, and I'm going to continue to fly it. I've only got a handful of batteries in it so far, and so far I really like it. This just really is the best bang for your buck if you need a drone that is less than 250 grams. And this is, it's 237, and you just get to skirt so many of those little rules and regulations if you're under 250 grams, and this is the one that's the best bang for your buck. So what do you want to know about this thing? Let us know in the comments down below so we can produce some more content for you. Make sure you check out our live streams, and if you're a Patreon, we give a drone away once a month to a lucky Patreon subscriber. Details in the description down below. Hey, good luck everyone. Thanks for watching, and happy flying.